So what is Spring? Okay, so if you might be wondering why should you go and learn Spring and what is the need of Spring, right? So Spring is a framework. So I think you have heard about Spring a lot many times, right? So this is the official website spring.io, and if you go here and check out what is Spring, or you want to check what is Spring is all about, right? It is not just a framework. Like you might have heard it as just a framework. It is not just a framework, it is framework of frameworks. Okay, means what? There are different frameworks in this Spring, right? Spring has a different versions, say Spring for microservices, Spring for reactive web application development, Spring for cloud, Spring for web apps, Spring for serverless connections, right? There are huge set of almost 20 different varieties or flavors of Spring is there. You have Spring Boot, Spring MVC, right? You have different learning curve of Spring is really high. Means you have to spend a lot of time in learning Spring. So that is one thing that you should keep in your mind. It's not like you attend classes for 1 week or 2 weeks and all. You can learn completely everything in Spring. It is not possible. If you go here on projects of Spring, right, you can see here Spring Boot, Spring Framework, Spring Cloud, Spring Data Flow, right, Spring Data Integration, Branch Security. There are different projects. If you go for view projects, you can see all the projects here. So these are all the projects which Spring is having, right? So literally now what we are going to learn is the basic part of it. Means what is just a Spring framework. Okay, later we will learn what is Spring Boot also, in case if it is there in your syllabus, and then we will learn something called as Spring MVC, and we will try to expose the REST API services, and anybody can consume it, and you should be able to build a real-time application. So that is what our aim is. We are not understanding everything, right? All these projects cannot be discussed. So what we are discussing is all this will run on some core things, correct? Now like your core Java, right? Any Java that you want to learn, the core is core Java, right? Similarly, Spring, if you want to learn all these modules, if you want to learn, you should know a primary module called as Spring Core. Okay, so I will just show you one document. So this is the architecture of Spring framework. Okay, so Spring framework is not just one thing, it is having collection of things. So what we are going to learn is this core container. Okay, so first we should learn, anybody who is learning Spring should learn what is this core container is about, what it is having. It is having something called beans, it is having something called as core, context, and SPEL, that is Spring expression language. So this things if you learn, right, then you have learned actually Spring framework's core part, means how Spring exactly works. What is Spring framework, you will learn if you learn these modules. And apart from that, if you learn this, then you can go for AOP aspects, instrumentation, messaging, and MVC framework, as well as some, if you have JDBC connections, if you want to make, then you can go and learn that. So everything in Spring is built on top of this core container. So our aim is to understand this core container today. Okay, not today, maybe it will take another 3 classes for us to understand what is core container. So today's class I will tell you what is this core container is about. Okay, and what are the things and how to configure it, and we will learn how to write our first hello world program in Spring. We'll learn from fundamental topics like dependency injection, and there is something called inversion of control. Okay, so we are going to learn very basic concepts. That is step 1 of learning Spring today. So if somebody asks you what is Spring, so Spring is a framework of frameworks, right? So Spring, if you take it is a collection of frameworks. It is having separate framework for doing web services, separate thing for web application development, and there is something called as core container for each and every specific implementation. There is specific module which is created in Spring framework. Okay, so name the application that you want to work on. You have libraries for that in Spring framework. It can be say game development, or it can be mobile application development, or it can be web application development, or enterprise application development, or it can be any simple desktop application also, you can use Spring for the development of it. Okay, so nowadays nobody is going and writing everything from scratch, right? So they want some platform which is already present. On top of that platform, we have to configure whatever we need. So Spring is such platform. So Spring framework, somebody has already written it for you. So they would have written all the implementation, and they are giving you some methods to use. So you can call those methods, and you can do all the programs here. So if you ask me how exactly, you had JDBC connections, right? You had some 8 steps or 9 steps in JDBC connection. But if you say in Hibernate, you had that save method. Only save method was doing all the works that you used to do in JDBC, right? Create connection, um, the steps of JDBC, right? All that, load the driver, load the class, and all that is taken care by that save method. Similarly, in Spring also, we have certain methods, certain classes using which we can do our it will actually make our work very simple. So that is what we learn in today's class, that is Spring framework. So the same thing is happening for HCL also. HCL, they are going for a corporate training with us, and they are undergoing the same syllabus which I am teaching you. Okay, so if you check, so today, right, today what we will understand, what is IOC container. Okay, if you understand this IOC container, then we will go for dependency injection, right? So these two topics, that's what I am targeting for. In case if time permits, I will go for auto wiring. Okay, so this is today's agenda. Okay, then what is Spring? So Spring is a flexible framework which is trusted by a lot of developers all over the world, because Spring is having a huge community of developers, right? There are millions of end users who are using Spring every day, right? Say for example, if you are having an application in TV, or if you are streaming TV online, right? So these applications are built in Spring. You had connected cars, online shopping websites, right? So any of them you take, any innovative solutions you take, Spring will have its own contribution there, because for that development they use Spring as a framework. So if you see our real-time applications which are there in Java, right? Any application you take, they will be built in Spring. Most of them will be built in Spring. So that is how famous it is, and it is, that is how flexible it is. So why they go for something everybody is using it commonly, because it is having some advantages, right? So that is the only reason that everybody is going for Spring. So let us understand, why should we go for Spring framework? We already know core Java, right? Or we know J2EE, right? We have servlets, and we have JSP. Why can't we use servlets and JSP? Why should we go for Spring, right? So that is one thing we should know. Fine. So Spring provides some basic things. Say Spring provides features like inversion of control and dependency injection. So this is the features which is provided by Spring. So that is where the major grasp, or that is where everybody is just moving towards Spring, only because of these two features. One is inversion of control and dependency injection. So let us learn this now. So today's class we are going to learn this. Apart from these features, Spring also provides security, and it enables you to do reactive web application development, and you had cloud-based microservices. If you want to create, Spring is the best choice, because we have a separate module for microservices, Spring with microservices. Okay, so don't worry about all the different flavors. If you learn the core part, different flavors will be easily understood by you, right? You can easily understand what they do, right? And yeah, so there is some feature of auto configured things which are present in Spring Boot. So we'll learn, when we are learning Spring Boot, we'll learn how auto configuration works, and how it is used in everyday life. Okay, because Spring Boot is also a Spring framework, right? So we have to talk about Spring Boot when we are learning Spring. First thing is, we should understand what is IOC container. Okay, so before going for IOC container, let us do a small exercise and learn how to do my first program, or how to write my first program in Spring. Okay, so to create your first program, just go back to your editor, your any favorite editor you can choose. So here I am choosing editor, Eclipse IDE, right? It looks a little different because it is Spring Tool Suite, okay, or Spring Tool Suite. So I'm using Spring Tool Suite in this class, and you can download this also, or you can use Eclipse also. Both does the same. Okay, so any IDE which you are comfortable. I think I have to clear all these classes, close all tabs. Okay, so now let us create a new project, and I want that to be uh, a Spring project. If I want to do Spring as an application development, what I should do, right? What is the first thing that I should do in Eclipse, right? I go to Eclipse, I go to File, I want to create a new project, right? I will go and create a new project. But what type of project you want to create? You don't want to create a normal Java project, because it's still boring, right? See, if you see why I should not create a Java project, because I am dealing with Spring. If you want to use the Spring, so it provides some jar files. Obviously it's a framework, so it should be downloaded from externally, right? So you just go and type Spring jar, right? Spring jars online, you will get Spring jars downloaded for you, right? There is a repository, or you can just go for Spring jars. You can download them. They are the dependencies, right? If you want to work on Spring, you should have these dependencies downloaded in your system, right? So you can go and download it. It's just a zip file. It's around say, I think around 100 KB, or maybe 10 MBs, or somewhere near to that. Okay, so it is very small one. I think I will just check it out, how much is the size. I think I downloaded many times, that's why it is showing third time. So I'll just see what is the size of it. So properties, yes, it is around 7 KB. Okay, just 7 KB file. Just download it. So first thing that you should do now is you have to download your dependencies, right? So your Spring dependencies. You cannot, if you create this Java project, right, you have to add that manually. All the dependencies you downloaded, you have to configure it manually. So instead of doing it, what I will do is I will go for Maven project. So Maven project will be very simple, because you don't want to download the dependency. Maven will download the dependency for you. Okay, so that is something very cool, right? So if you change the version, or if you want the latest version or anything, you can just ask Maven, hey Maven, just give me the latest download or latest version of Spring, right? So I can directly do it with Maven project. So I'll just go and create a Maven project, click on Maven project, and go to next. Now it will ask whether you want to create a simple project and skip the artifact IDs. Yes, you click on that, and it will ask for, hey, give your group ID. Group ID is basically your your company name, right? Your domain name. So I'll just say com.amphisoft, because you're creating some project, right? You have to give some name. So this is the name I am giving. Then this is the name of the project that you want to give. Whatever name that you want to give, like Spring demo, right? So this is the project name, Spring demo. Okay, that's it. So this is the project name. The moment you create this project, there will be a package called as com.amphisoft. Inside that you have to do some project. That's it, right? So this is the thing, and here it is asking for packaging type. It should be jar always, and there is something called version. Don't change anything, let it be by default whatever is there. That is this. Just go for finish. The moment you do it, there is something called as Amphisoft created. Okay, so Amphisoft is the project name. So if you see here, yeah, so project name is Amphisoft, and inside this you can see src/main/java, right? Here we are going to write some Java files or code, right? And you can see the structure of this. It says there is some JRE added. Obviously JRE should be present, but it is 1.5. The first thing that you should do is you should go and change it, right? You should have the latest JRE version. So just go and remove this. I don't want this, right? You can add library and go to JRE library. here you can choose external library and add finish. So you want latest version. I'm using JDK 11. You can go with 8 onwards, whatever JDK versions you feel. 8 onwards, say 14 also you can use. Any versions you are comfortable, you can use it. Just click on apply and close. Now the latest JDK is added, right? This is the first step. Next step is you want to add the dependencies, right? Because I want this, if I want to make this project a Spring project, I should have the dependencies. So where the dependencies will go generally in Maven project is inside this pom.xml. So go to pom.xml. Okay, there is name, right? This is what the name of project we created. Okay, it is already present. Now I want to add the dependencies. So what, I don't know where the dependencies is, right? The Maven should only identify the dependencies and download. For that I have to configure it in pom.xml. So what I will do, I'll just go to my browser and I type Maven repository, right? Just Maven repository, and I'll go to Maven repository. Here I'll type context. Okay, so just type context or Spring context or anything you can type and search, and it will give you a first result, that is Spring context. So just click on it. Here it says, hey, what is the dependencies? Why should I go for Spring context, right? Spring context provides dependency injection. It is for the category for dependency injection. Okay, if you want to use mail services in Spring, there is a separate dependency for it. If you want to use say some payment gateway, there is a different dependency, right? So for every aspect there is a different dependency. See, for example, you want to use expression language, there is a separate dependency. You have to go and type here and get it. So this is the dependency. The latest release of Spring context, if you check, it is in 5.2x. So you can choose any one of this for your work, because choose always the latest. So how to choose which one is good, right? You go and see number of downloads here. So more downloads are there for this, right? 617 are there. So I'll just go and click on this, and whatever is the option here, right? For Maven, you can see for Gradle, this is the thing, and for different things, different paths will be there. I am using Maven. I'll go here, I'll copy this dependency, right? For me this dependency is important, so I'll just copy it. I'll go back to my project. Here I will add the dependencies. If you just copy paste it, it will give an error. It says if you try to save it, it says an error saying what is this dependency, I don't know, right? It says an error. So there is no error actually. You have to have a tag called as dependencies. Okay, there's a tag called as dependencies. Inside this dependency should be there. So that is how it is. Don't worry if you get that error, right? Add this dependencies and then save it. That error will be vanished. Okay, so now you can see your project. Actually the project now you added, right? Now you added this dependencies. Now if you go back to Maven and check whether it is added, okay, there is no external repositories added because of this error. There is some error in this file, so that's why it is not adding. So let us see what is that error. I think there is no error in this. One second. Okay, this is something old. That's not a problem. Okay, I'll just refresh it. I think there is some cache problem. I'll just go and refresh it. The moment you refresh it, all the projects gets refreshed. Yeah, so now all the errors are gone, right? Now you can see automatically, right? There should be one Maven repository, Maven dependencies to be created. Can you see here Maven dependency is created? Go and check it out. So it is adding few things. What it is adding? It is adding context, it is adding AOP, it is adding beans, core, expression language, right? So these are the jars which are there in your core package. Can you see here? Core is having beans, core, context, and expression language, right? All those jars are added here because we are learning core, right? We are learning core Spring. Only these jars are required, or these jars are enough for me to perform my task. Moving forward, I need more dependencies. I keep adding dependencies here, and Maven will automatically download and give it to me. I don't want to do it. Maven will do it for me. Okay, so this is the second step. First step is naming this JRE library, means you give external library and name it to the latest one. Then you download the Maven repository, right? Means I add all the jars. Now my program is ready actually, right? My program is ready, but how to check whether the program is ready, right? I want to print something and check it, right? I just go here, right click on it, or you can go to project itself, right click on it, new class. I'll just create a class called as main. That's how we create, right? And we have main method created in that main, and I will just go inside this main class. So here I will just do hello world. That's what we do every time, right? Now I have created hello world project. Now how to run it, right? Do you want to deploy this application to run it? Not required, right? We are not doing any web application to deploy it. We can just go to this project, right click, and you can say run as Java application. It is not a web application, it's just a Java Maven project, right? I just click on Java application, it runs and it gives you an output. You can see hello world is the output. So now what we did, we successfully did one Spring project, and in this Spring project I am printing hello world. So this is what we call hello world project. Now wait a minute, how do I trust it is a Java Spring project, right? How do I trust it? So I have to do some other things, right? I want to use features of Spring, then only I will get to know, okay, it is present or not, right? So I want to do some external operations, or I want to do some behavior. Say I told you about dependency injection or AOP. Let us understand what are these, how Spring supports them. Okay, so before we do that, we need to understand something called as coupling. Okay, so there is something called loose coupling. Have you heard about loose coupling and tight coupling? Have you heard any time? What is loose coupling, by the way?
No, Girish, haven't heard about.
Okay, fine. If you have not heard about, I will tell you what it is. Okay, I'll just create a new class. Okay, here I will give some name. I want to do something, right? Like I want a name. Can you give me a class name, whichever class you like? Just give me a class name. Any class name. It's your own class. Come on, any name.
Like you can have DB connection.
DB connection. Okay, I will do that only. Okay, so I just give a class called as DB connection and I hit enter. Okay, what are the attributes of DB connection? What do you need if you want to connect to DB?
We need first of all connection.
So you need some connection as a URL, right? As a URL you need to have a connection.
Uh, okay, for your okay URL we need username, we need password, we need for connection.
Okay, so I will use username and password. Is that fine?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, username and password. So what I have some connection string, I have username, and I have password, right? So this is my class DB connection. It is having these properties. That's okay, fine. Now how do I think there is one method also. I'll just give after connection it should show, it should print something. Okay, it says success connected successfully to this particular DB with some username and password. Okay, or it should say welcome username. Okay, it should do that. Okay, so that is I'll just give display. So display is the method that I am writing. So for now I will not make it private, I will make it public. Okay, so public void display, and inside this display what I am doing is I am printing so connection okay, connection successful. I have to welcome the user, so I'll give welcome space and I'll give plus and use this dot username, right? Okay, that's it. So what I'm doing, I'm having some properties, and after connection is, if the connection is successful, I'm calling display. I'm just calling display method. It should say connection successful and welcome to this. Only a basic feature I want to do. That's it, right? Now I just go to my main method. So here instead of printing hello world, I have to create object of db connection, right? Then only I can call that method display, right? So what I'll do, I'll create db connection con is equal to new db connection of. So this is what we do, right, generally. Then I will call con dot display. The moment I do display, what gets printed, guys? If I run this program, what gets printed?
Whatever inside the display method will get printed.
Yeah, this successful connection successful.
Connection successful will come.
Welcome what?
But username will be like, it is string, so it will be null because we haven't
right,
initialized it.
Correct. So it should print null, correct? Now see, it is printing null. Can you see this output? It is printing connection successful, welcome null, because I did not give any name to the user. So how can I set it? I will come here and I will say con dot username. I will give some name like Girish. Okay. Now if I call display method, it should print Girish, right? Now it is printing Girish here. So now if you see here, this main method, that main class, is tightly coupled with db connection. Why? Because db connection will be there if this main method is there. Otherwise, if main program is not there, your db will not have any existence, because I am creating object of db connection here. No, if this main method is there, if main function is called, then only this db connection will come into action, or the object will be formed. So this db connection is tightly coupled with main. Did you understand what is tight coupling now? What is this db connection is doing? db connection is tightly coupled with this main method or the main class. So this is called as tight coupling. Okay. Now, yeah, so this is a bad practice. You should not do like this, because if the objects are tightly coupled, you should have object of this db connection, then only you can do something, right? Or you have to call this main method, then only you have to create object, then only this class gets created. So this is a very hectic job, right? Please go on mute, guys. Yeah, so it becomes a very difficult task. What is our main aim is, we have to loosely couple this. Means db connection should be a separate thing, main should be a separate thing. Both of them should not combine each other, right? They should not be together. They should never be together. So I have to separate them. If I want to separate them, I should not create object of one class inside the other class. I should not create it. Okay. So what your Spring framework says is, hey, you don't want to connect it, means you don't want to create object, because if you create object, your class will become tightly coupled with your db connection. Okay, that's a bad practice. You should never do it. So then you will tell to Spring framework, hey, tell me, is there any other better way? So how can I do it? So Spring says, hey, there is something called as inversion of control. Means what? You are the person who is controlling this program, right? Because in the main method you are writing, main is where I am controlling the code. So here I am controlling the code by creating the objects, right? Now I will give this control to my Spring framework. Okay, what my Spring framework will do, hey, give your control to me, I will create the objects for you. You don't want to create it, I will create object for you. Okay, so that is what your Spring framework is going to provide. So if you want to achieve that, that is inversion of control, you need to understand two things. One is what is inversion of control, and what is how to achieve it. Okay, how to achieve inversion of control here. So inversion of control is, instead of user deciding what objects to be created or what to be added, control will be given to Spring, and Spring will create the objects for you. So that is called as inversion of control. Instead of you creating the object, you will tell Spring to create the objects. That is called as inversion of control. How do you achieve it in Java or in Spring is by two ways. Okay, what are the two ways? One is bean factory. Bean factory. So what is this bean factory? Bean factory is the interface, the supermost interface available with us. So what is this bean factory is having? If you check out, so bean factory is having two things, right? It has two interfaces which is children of it. Okay, so one is one is XML bean factory. One is XML bean factory. Bean factory. Okay, so one is XML bean factory, and the other one, the second one is, so this is very important, application context. Okay, application context. So these are the two interfaces available. One is XML bean factory, another one is application context. So using these two, right, these two will act as a container. Okay, the moment I say container, imagine a jar. Okay, you know, a glass jar or anything, right? So that jar, imagine you are storing some marbles into it. Okay, so what happens if you start storing marbles into it? Say around 100 marbles you can put it inside that jar, right? So all the marbles go inside that jar. Whenever you want whichever marble, you can go and remove that marble from your side. Similarly, if you are using this bean factory or XML bean factory or application context, these are acting like containers. Means it will act like a jar. In this, what will be there? In this, all the classes will be there. Means what? Here I have two classes, right? So these two classes, I don't want to configure it. I will give to Spring, hey Spring, take this class. So Spring will create object and give it to me. Okay, so I will just show you a demo to you. Now I will use my XML bean factory. Okay, so there is something called as XML bean factory is equal to new XML bean factory of. Okay, this is an implementation class. So here you have to pass new file resource. So don't worry what is this I am typing now. Okay, you will easily get to know once I finish this code. Okay, what is XML bean factory? It's a class which is already available in my Spring framework. Can you see here? org.springframework.beans.factory.xml.xml bean factory. It is a class available in my Spring framework. Okay, I will use it to auto configure my beans. What are beans? Beans are the classes. See, I have written DB connection, it is a bean. I have written main, it is a bean. Okay, so here I have to give one file path name, because see, we are creating objects, we know the names of the object, right? Say for example, in main method I created db connection con is equal to new db connection of, right? I created there, right? Easily I was able to create it, but I don't want to do it now, right? I don't want to do it, but my Spring has to do it. So I should tell some configuration file or an XML file, right? In your servlets and JSP, you had something called web.xml, remember, which was said as the deployment descriptor. So similarly, here you can give some name, your wish, right? I am giving, say I can give Girish.xml. Okay, what is this girish.xml? This girish.xml, I will write the configuration. Means what is the what are the objects that I want to construct for that bean or for that factory. Okay, what are the config? So I don't have that XML class, right? Here I don't have that XML class. Just right click on the project, and here you have option called as one second. If you are using this Spring Tool suite, right, you'll get a direct option to create a new one minute, I will tell you where it is. If you go to XML, okay, so I think it is not showing up. So there is a directly available to create configuration app to you directly. But anyway, no need to worry. You can go and click on XML file here. So because I have to create my own XML file, right? I gave the name as girish.xml. So I will go and write Girish here. So girish.xml is the one which I want. So I will click on next. So now I will check. Okay, it is XML from XML template from schema. Okay, so I think this is fine. So I keep it default. So this is my XML file. Okay, can you see it is added here? It is added below this targets. So you don't want it here. You just bring it and keep it in this class path. Okay, so it should be present inside this class path. Okay, so or you can directly click here and create a new file, and you can go for XML. You can do it. Okay, so I have created an XML file here. So this XML file is below this package. Can you see this package is different below that package, but inside this src file it should be present. Okay, this is the requirement. So in this XML I want to configure my beans. Okay, so before you do it, just go back to your browser. But what I need is if you've seen web.xml, there are some 3 lines in the beginning, right? So they write that 3 lines in the beginning to make sure there is nothing wrong which you are doing. So what are these 3 lines that you want to add here is I think you can go and see outside, but I already did it, so I will use it from my project itself. There is some project, yeah. So these 3 lines, I'll just copy these 3 lines. I'll tell you what are these 3 lines which I'm copying. So you should also copy this. There is no other go. So I just copied. I come to Amphisoft, that's my project, and I go inside this and I copy that or paste that 3 lines. So what is this 3 lines is? It is saying what is the schema location, right? So this entire framework, right, it is having something called as springbeans.xst. So what is this spring framework.xst? It is already XML file which is available in your Spring package. So in which package it is available? It is present in say springframework.org/schema/beans. If you have this maven repository, right, go to this maven repositories. In this, go to beans, right? Beans. In beans you have something called as spring bean, right? So if you go inside this, or you have factory.xml, okay, so go inside, and here you will have this xsd file. I think you should go inside this bean properties okay, these are all class files. Bean factory. Okay, I'll just go to this. Okay, so it is an xsd file present in one of this package, guys. I don't really remember which package it is. Either it is in beans.factory or it is in this beans framework. Okay, so any one of this. I'm not able to check, I'm not able to get that exact file. Okay, but it is present in any one of these packages. Okay, any one of these packages, if you just go and check it out, you will get that thing. So what is that? It is nothing but it is saying, hey, if you are writing some XML here, I will know what it is. So already there is a code written already, means what is this beans tag, that it will know. Okay, and what is whatever tags from now we are writing, all that will be known to that XML file. Okay, so see, it is asking me automatically end the bean. Then I will just add some more beans. I want some beans to be added. What are beans? They are nothing but objects that I want to create, because here Spring Framework wants to create that objects, right? So I am giving it, so I am writing a bean, right? So what bean I should write, right? So bean should have ID, right? Bean should have ID. So ID is equal to, you can give any ID, say you had DB, right? DB connection, I think, as your class name. So I will just give ID, and what is the name, right? What is the class? DB is the ID, and what is the class? So I'll just use class attribute, and I will give class name. What is the class name of your DB? Just go and check it out. It is in default package, but what is the thing? You just go click on copy qualified name and just come here and paste it. I want the fully qualified class name, that is, it is present and inside Java, and DB connection is the class name. So that is not a problem. I'll remove everything here. I can just give DB connection because it is in a default package. I don't want to mention anything in extra. Okay, I can just mention that class name itself. If it is inside some package, I have to give that package names also. Okay, so what I did just now, I declared one bean in my XML file. Means what? I am reading it here, right? I am reading it here. Can you see here? I am reading it here. Okay, and there is some, okay, fine. I am reading a girish.xml. In girish.xml, I have written one bean. Fine, I have done it. Now what I should do, right? I have done it. Now I will go to my main. Okay, oh boss, you are reading from Girish. Okay, so Girish will have one object. So if you say factory, right, dot, the moment you do factory dot, it says get bean method. Okay, just go to get bean method. So just take that bean. Yes, what is the name you set there? You set it like DB, correct? No? I will give the same name here and get that bean. So now I'm getting the bean. What bean is written, I don't know, right? What bean is coming, I don't know. So I want what beans I want. I want bean of DB connection. So I will write DB connection. Write DB connection con is equal to factory.getBean. Okay, factory.getBean is getting me one bean, but it should store in this DB connection, right? So it should be typecasted basically. I'll just typecast it. So I'm just saying, hey, it is a DB connection type object. I will store it in con. Now what I can do, I can go confidently and write DB dot or con dot display, right? I can con dot display method. But what gets displayed here if you print it? What get displayed? Connection successful, welcome. What will be printed? Null, because I did not tell what object, right? What object it is, I did not tell, right? If I run it, it says, hey boss, there is some error. Okay, there is a different error apart from this. Let us see what is that error. Okay, so it is saying here girish.xml, it is not there. It is saying, okay, I cannot find Girish file, not found. Girish.xml is not found. Okay, so what you can do is check the spelling first, whether it is correct or wrong. Girish XML. Okay, it's correct. What you can do is you can just copy it and just paste it as a okay, yeah. So now you are getting it, right? So what happened is I've used file system resource as the class That's why it is going outside the class and checking. There is one method. See, I will just delete it. So what I just did is I added Girish here at the end, so it is working now. But if you want this girish.xml to work, right, you have to give one more method here, one more class you have to create object, that is class path xml. Okay, so class path resource. Okay, now if I run it, my code will work fine. Okay, so check it out, it is printing null here, connection successful, but null is printed because I did not give any name, right? I did not give any name. So what I will do, okay, fine, anyway I have object of that type, right? So what I will do here, I will say con dot name. So I will say I will take username and I will give name as say Aarti. So I'll give Aarti and I will save it. Now the moment I call display, what happens? Obviously connection successful, welcome Aarti will be printed, correct? So just check it out. Is it printed? Yes, it is printed. Now what is the difference that you did, right? What did you do now, right? Nothing. I just did not create object of DB connection. I did this two steps. So that somebody, who's that, Spring Framework is creating an object for me and giving it directly. I am doing factory.getBean. I am getting that object. What is that object? It is nothing but DB connection. Now, is my class main tightly coupled to DB connection? No way, right? It is not at all tightly coupled to my DB connection. It is loosely coupled. This is the best programming practice. Now, is this the only way to do? No, there is another way.
Girish, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. I have one doubt, Girish
Yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So here what we are